Welcome back. Now, still on that, the breaking news now about that plane crash. Let's just tell you that for now, there's no latest development, but do not forget 153 passengers were on board that dinner flight that came down somewhere around Iju-Ishaga area of Lagos State. Now, Iju-Ishaga, I should say, is very close to the airport, very close to the runway. So the plane, I believe the pilot must have been seeing the runway when he was about to land, and the plane was so close to ground, but unfortunately it landed on these residential buildings close to the airport and burst into flame. We do not know the casualty figure. We do not know if there are survivors, but 153 persons were on board that plane. Let's just show you some of the pictures we got from that side. If we can have those pictures now. There you are. You can see the building. That's the building, one of the buildings now affected. We understand not just one building was affected by this crash. I'm now being joined by our correspondent who was actually there on the scene and came back with these pictures, Oreoluwa Shonibare. Oreoluwa, tell us exactly what you saw on ground.
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to the families of those who met up.
If we can have those pictures, we'll appreciate it. Okay, so please go on.
Yes, we got to the scene and it was chaos, as you can see. The whole place was blocked off. We forced our way in, and I had to go into
if you forced your way in, I wonder, what about the emergency agencies? Were they able to gain easy access to the crash site?
Nothing of the sort. It was a terrible place. But the beauty is we had the community there supporting, in as much as you didn't have space to move.
But they basically would have no idea at all on how to run things in an emergency situation.
None
they
at
were
all.
using crude methods.
None at all. They were using crude methods. There was this building that had to be knocked off with iron. So it was just it was a very brave collective effort. We had on ground officials of the Lagos State Emergency Service. So I met one of the officials.
That's
Lasema. At that point, he said to me, no survivors from the plane. The people who were in the building that the plane landed on, they were able to get survivors out. Nobody died there, thankfully. But at that time, it was all smoke.
Okay, now describe this area where this crash happened. How close is it to the airport?
I would say 10 minutes. From the airport, if you're
probably less than if you're flying.
Yes, if you're flying, So it was just, I mean, you're seeing Lagos, you're seeing your runway, and next thing, boom. It was just very sad day. But thankfully, it just landed on one house. I mean, you can see the area; it was all clustered with houses and people just moving around. It landed on a printing press and a building pretty close together. So people were looting. People were saving lives. It was all.
Now, tell me how fast help came. I mean, these emergency services now. How fast they were able to respond?
Pretty fast, I would say. We got there. The firefighters were in
because I know the streets around this area. That you can see that building still on fire.
Yeah, still on fire. But the concentration was on the plane because you still had fuel. You needed to make the fuel pump area wet, so that the whole place doesn't explode. Smoke everywhere.
Now, just look at that building. Did the plane land on the building? Where was the final resting place of this plane?
Right behind the building. Right behind this building.
And there's another building right behind this building?
Yes, that is the main press. There was a printing press just behind this building. And pretty soon the pictures will come on, because at some point when the smoke got hazy, my cameraman went left, I went right. So I had to take amateur photos with my phone, and he had to do his own shots.
I mean, with the fire now, was it so easy for people to come close to the plane to see if they could rescue any survivor at all?
No, none at all. You see, it was a question of move back 10 minutes, come back 5 minutes, move back 10 minutes, come back 5 minutes. So until the whole firefighters came, I'm still shaky. It was pretty.
For how long were you there before the firefighters came?
Well, I met firefighters, the 2 firefighters on ground.
Just 2
at that point, and they've done a fantastic job. But the side of where the plane crashed, we had to link up ropes again. Firefighters came in from the other side, so that took another 20 minutes. But the fire wasn't that bad. It was almost out.
What about security officials? Because I know in a situation like this, you would need them to put people away from the crash site. For instance, you talked about looting. You would need security officials now to do some kind of job, putting people away, not to allow this kind of thing happen.
Yeah, but you know, it was pretty tough. You have like 10,000 people here trying to do several things, and you have how many security officials? There were like 300 before the Navy came, the Air Force came, like an hour later. But once they came in, everything became normal. But
were you able to speak with any of the airline officials or
none of them wanted
officials
to speak.
of Nigerian Civil Aviation Agency, all of that?
None of them refused. None of them. No, they all declined, saying we have people on that plane. Let's get them out first, and before we move on.
Well, what you're watching now is pictures now earlier pictures from the scene of the crash site. You can see the two-story building there affected. Actually, the plane breezed through that building, I want to believe. It's like it tore into the building before landing on the printing press, right?
Well, from the direction, pretty soon you see the image of where the printing press is. It's just behind this building, you know, but its landing was on the building, then half of it was on the press, you know, so it was just...
Now, did the plane break into two, or
I would assume so. Because when I got there, the whole place was smoky. So I got pretty close to the tail of the plane, and I took my pictures.
Okay, you saw the tail.
I saw the tail. I saw some of the engine parts, you know, but I couldn't go in because it was still smoky.
And did
firefighters
you
were not
see
letting
bodies
anybody
around?
I saw a few bodies, but it was the firefighters barricaded at some point, so we couldn't go in further because it was too dangerous.
Thank you very much, Shehu Shonibara. Thank you very much. What you're watching now are earlier pictures from the scene of the crash site. That is, what's the name of that street now? Some Olani Street, I should say, around Iju area. Iju is somewhere around Agege, so they call the area Iju Ishaga actually, and the plane came down unexpectedly. Of course, some people on the ground were affected, buildings were affected, and there were 153 passengers and crew on board that flight. As we speak, we do not know if there are survivors. We're waiting for official confirmation now from the relevant agencies like NCAA and NEMA, and of course LASEMA, that's that of Lagos State. And we understand the Minister of Aviation would be briefing very soon. We're also waiting to find out what she's going to say. We know for sure that this plane left Abuja earlier in the day, and it was just about landing in Lagos when this incident happened. And our heart goes out to the families of those who have lost loved ones in this airline.